WHCS Sports presents Eastern Regional Baseball, the semifinals. The Kecoughtan Warriors versus the Kempsville Chiefs. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Bud Metheny Baseball Complex. I'm Tim Cole along with Mike McCormick. We welcome you to tonight's game between the undefeated Kecoughtan Warriors, a perfect 21-0 record, taking on the Kempsville Chiefs, a record of 12-9. Mike, glad to have you along with us. Our big buddy Bob is still up in Canada. He may never come back, I'm told.
Not if he catches the big one.
But at any rate, you are very familiar with this Kecoughtan team, of course, and they have been playing extremely well this year, 21-0. On paper, this matchup would look to be a mismatch with a team with a 12-9 record.
And yet we all know, Tim, when you get this far in the season, you don't come up against any bad teams. These are all good baseball teams, and you have to earn every victory.
And that'll definitely be the case tonight. You know, the old adage about any team can beat another team on any given night couldn't be more true. And as you say, when you get to this level, you just have to be very weary. The Kecoughtan Warriors have had a perfect season, 21-0. They have struggled at times. They had a tough going the other night. They won that game 8-6, but it was a tough outing for the Warriors.
It really was. It was a very strange game for Brett Wheeler the other day. He had 14 strikeouts and only gave up 3 walks, and yet they hit him pretty good. Indian River has a good baseball team, and they move the ball around real well against him. When you get this far, Tim, you have to execute. You have to execute the fundamentals. You have to get good pitching and solid defense and make sure you can score the runs when you get them on base.
You see the umpires discussing with the coaches. Of course, Buddy Denton is the head coach of the Kecoughtan Warriors. The coach for Kempsville, Norm Benwitz. And there you see the men in blue as they are set to get this game underway. The umpires Eddie Freeman, Eddie Williams, and Jim Smith. Do you happen to know which is the plate umpire tonight?
Yeah, Jim Smith from the Beach District is behind the plate, and the 2 other umpires are both from the Peninsula District, Eddie Freeman and Eddie Williams.
The Kecoughtan Warriors take the field as they will be the home team for this contest. And taking the mound for the Warriors will be Morocco Brown, and he will start this game. He has started 6 games previously and has a 6-0 record. Mike, a little insight on how Rock has done.
Rock has really progressed as a pitcher at this particular level. He was very good as a little leaguer and a pony leaguer, but I think has just come into his own this year at the high school level. He's a hard thrower. He'll throw a little bit of a split finger from time to time and also has a good breaking pitch.
Those of you familiar with Peninsula sports would recognize Rock also from having been on the Kecoughtan Warrior football team. Until this past season, he was also on the Kecoughtan basketball team. So I understand that he took the time off this year from playing basketball to concentrate on his baseball game.
He's quite an athlete, and a lot of people have been looking at him ever since he was a freshman. I can remember college scouts coming into the gymnasium and just seeing the frame that he had and his athletic ability. And it's going to be interesting to see what Rock does once he's a senior.
Coming into this contest, Rock had pitched in 37 innings. He had 2 complete games. He has only allowed 17 hits in those 37 innings. And he has walked 19 while striking out 43 and compiling a 6-0 record for the Kecoughtan Warriors. And Rock is a junior. I emphasize that as well because certainly Buddy Denton will be more than happy to have him back next year, and hopefully he will be their ace next year as he has taken the number 2 position this year behind Brett Wheeler. Some interesting news in the baseball draft today, Mike. You were telling me before we came on the air some of the information that undoubtedly by now the fans seeing this game will already have heard it, but we were certainly pleased, and those that may not have heard about it might tell them a little bit about what happened.
Well, we've had quite a few professional scouts hanging around the field for the last couple of weeks, and we were really unsure what was going to happen come draft day. But Macy Brooks, who's in center field this evening, was drafted in the 2nd round, the 4th pick in the 2nd round by the San Francisco Giants today. And that is going to be real interesting. And for those of you fans of the Peninsula District a couple of years ago, Mr. Wayne Gomes, who is at Old Dominion, was drafted in the first round, the 4th pick overall in the draft.
Okay, Mike, we're about set to go. Let me do a little quick repair job here on your headset. You're going to have to switch over. We understand we have a little bit of problem with your headset, so we get you to change. We're going to hear you loud and clear, we hope. First pitch of the ball game is a ball. The leadoff batter for Kempsville, number 4, Ryan Rivera, and he is the shortstop and bats .425 on the season. He skies one to deep center field and is taken for the first out of the ball game.
Well, I know the Warriors are glad to see that because Ryan Rivera is what makes this Kempsville team go.
The second batter of the inning, number 16, the first baseman, Adam Hubner. And I'm told that it's spelled Hubner but pronounced Hibner, so let me correct myself right off the bat here. He's batting in the .230 range, according to Coach Norm Benwitz. And a first pitch to Hibner, whichever I want to call him, is a ball. Brown delivers, strike on the corner. 1-1 the count, one away here in the top half of the first inning. First Colonial, a 5-4 victor in 9 innings over Western Branch in a game that preceded this one. And boy, was that an exciting contest between those two teams.
It really was. This place was packed all the way to the top of the stadium, and both sides brought in large contingents of fans, and it was exciting all the way to the last runs being scored.
One ball, 2 strikes, the count on Hibner. Brown delivers foul down the third baseline, out of play. The Kempsville Chiefs, of course, finished 3rd in the regular season of the Beach District, and in the tournament, and not dissimilar to the Peninsula tournament, they were able to finish as the runner-up, so they obviously moved up and came in to this matchup with a somewhat weak record of 12-9, but as we've said before, any team at this level is going to be dangerous, and you can take no one lightly, and believe me, Buddy Denton and his group are not. Brown delivers, foul back, out of play.
Good fastball there by Brown. You can see the ball tailing in on the hands of the hitter. You know you got your good stuff when that ball has a little tail on the end of it.
2-2 the count, fouled away. The weather at the start of the game is threatening. There is a chance of showers. We have been able to avoid those. If you recall, on Thursday, the 3rd of June, the game recorded on that day, the weather was rather iffy. This one is going to drop in left field for a base hit, and Hibner will hold up at first base on a good play to relay the ball back to avoid a 2-bagger. But a hit by Hibner to start Kempsville off, and Jason Hatcher will be the batter. Hatcher is the second baseman for the Kempsville Chiefs.
Hibner did a good job fighting off several difficult pitches inside. He got something on the outside part of the plate, and he was able to get the fat part of the bat on it.
Hatcher, a dangerous stick there at 346, and according to his coach, he is hot. He has been hitting extremely well during the tournament. On the corner for a called strike. One away here in the top of the first, one on. From the stretch, Brown quick over to first, back in time. See a good look at the runner and the lead. This one is hit sharply to the right side for a base hit, and the runners will have to hold at first and second, but the Kempsville Chiefs have come out swinging the bat.
Another good piece of hitting going to the right-hand side of the infield. Ricardo Bellanchon making a good play on that ball to keep the runner at second base.
So a couple of singles have the Chiefs in business. And that'll bring up the catcher, Mike Hilliard. Hilliard just a sophomore, and he is carrying a .325 batting average. So Brown now with runners at first and second, one away. Strike call. What kind of arm does the Warriors catcher Clark have?
I would say
pretty good.
A very good arm. He did a good job the other day throwing out an Indian River runner at the end of the ball game when the game was on the line, and I'm sure that's been scouted by Kempsville.
Nice pitch by Brown for a swing and a miss, strike two. He's got some funny stuff he's throwing there. I don't mean funny illegal. I mean he's got some real action on the ball right now. What kind of pitch would you say that last one was?
That's a split finger.
Had the batter missing poorly on that split finger. That time he fouls it away.
This has become an interesting pitch at Kecoughtan ever since Steve Smizer used it, and they've toyed around it with it. Tab Paps came in, and some other folks came in and worked with these pitchers. It's an interesting pitch. It comes in there like a fastball and then drops right off the table.
0-2 the count. Ooh. Not sure what was wrong with that one, but did not get the call. Looked to be right about waist high and down the middle, but the umpire, Jim Smith, did not see it that way. 1-2 the count, one away. Runners at first and second. Hit to the right side. And over the first for the second out of the inning. So Muski did a good job that time of playing the ball, and it brings up the pitcher, Kevin Bryn. Bryn batting around .240. Also plays first base. Takes the first pitch for a strike. So runners at second and third, 2 out, top of the first. Brock Brown trying to get out of this inning if he can, and that one is strike 2 call. So quickly ahead of the batter. Bryn steps out and looks down to Coach Benwitz to get the sign. I'm sure the sign was, if it's close swing, you know they're going to try and waste a pitch. They do. He does not go for it, as Clark lined up well off the plate, trying to get Bryn to go for a pitch off the plate. And good discipline by Bryn not to go for it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brown delivers right back up the middle, and that'll score a run and maybe 2. It's cut off, and the Kempsville Chiefs jump out in front 2-0.
Brock looked like he got ahead with 2 good fastballs. Threw the ball outside on the 0-2 pitch, and it came back with what looked to be a split finger, and evidently it didn't drop very much. It dropped right on that bat and right up the middle.
So Kevin Bryn delivers with a 1-2 count, a single right up the middle. Brown had no opportunity to play the ball, and the third hit of the inning proves to be a costly one for the Warriors, as Kempsville scores 2 runs, and they lead 2-0 here with 2 out. Batter is Chris Nicholas, the left fielder. Fouled away, out of play.
That's what's win these kind of games, Tim. Good pitching, good defense, and timely hitting. And that was a timely hit right there with the count not in his favor, 1-2.
Nicholas with a 3.85 GPA, according to this coach, one of the better scholar athletes on the team. Throw over to first, off the mark. Denton, with no chance to make the play, gets the ball back, but the runner advances to third. Bryn moves all the way to third on the play. And Nicholas, I'm not so sure that wouldn't have been a hit to begin with, but it was going to be close.
Well, it was one of those slow rollers, choppers up the middle, and the thing that you worry about the most is when the infielder makes the play to get his feet in position to make a good throw. I think Robert hustled on it a little bit and didn't get his feet set just right, and wound up throwing the ball over David's head.
So Brian Ward, the third baseman now, will step to the plate with runners at the corners. Still 2 outs. This is a roller hit to the shortstop. Long throw again, and he throws it away a second time. This one goes into the stands, and the runners will have to hold at second and third, but now they're going to, nope, they will not allow that runner to score, but Bryn does come in on the play. And now we have runners at second and third. Ward at second on the air. And 2 consecutive bad throws. And now the Warriors have a little meeting. Here's your replay. You're going to see this ball very playable, and it's just simply thrown away.
Tim, I think he had time to set himself and get the runner going to second. But I think he wanted to come back with a good throw to first after the last batter. Coach is out there settling them down. Morocco's throwing a good ball game so far. I think his fastball's been moving real well. He's getting him to hit the ball on the ground. Gave up the one hit up the middle, which hurt him. Rock looks okay.
Mike Francis will come to the plate. He is the center fielder, and he is batting 205. Runners at second and third. 3 runs across. This one hit to center field. Playable. That was going to be taken by the right fielder as the ball drifted over, and the Warriors are able to get out of the inning, but not before Kempsville scores 3 times. They did so on 3 hits. I'm not very good at this. You have to keep up with me on this. 2 errors, 2 big errors, one of those leading to the 3rd run. And so I guess we might say we had 2 earned runs in the inning, 1 unearned. Here's a replay of the hit up the middle. That just a case where Brown fell to his left after delivering his pitch, and had he been in a little different position, he might have had a chance to make a play on that ball. But what might have been was not to be. And the Warriors find themselves in a hole, down 3-0 after 1/2 of an inning. But those of you familiar with the Warriors are all too familiar with their batting ability as a team. They hit .331. There you see the starting lineup for the Warriors. Muskie, Wheeler, Denton, Brooks, Arredondo. There's a little misspelling on Robert's name there. Morocco Brown, the pitcher for the start of the game, as you know. And the balance, you see Pat Painter, Richie Clark, and Belenshon rounding out the starters and the rest of the players on the team. So for the Warriors, they will have Muskie starting off, second baseman. He'll lead off. Muskie batting .267 on the season. Takes the first pitch a little high. Kevin Bryn, the pitcher for Kempsville, a 4-2-3 record and a 2.31 ERA. Second pitch is a call strike, evening the count at 1-1.
Muskie's done a good job this year developing himself into a leadoff hitter. He hasn't had that role until this year.
Pitch off the plate for a ball, 2-1. A lot of experience on this Kecoughtan team. I think that will help. And an inside corner for a call strike.
And not only just experience, but experience at this level of play. In the regional tournament, in the state tournament, in Legion tournaments. A lot of experience here.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for Muskie. And that'll bring up the left fielder for this ball game, Brett Wheeler. Of course, Wheeler known more for his pitching. Batting .343. Not a shoddy average, to say the least.
Now, this has been his best year with the bat by far, and one of the reasons why he has been 2-time Player of the Year in the Peninsula District.
Takes the first pitch off the plate. The appeal on the, I guess, half swing is denied. Ball and no strikes. One away here in the bottom of the first. Wheeler checks and watches ball 2.
Of course, Brett Wheeler is going to get a chance to be in this ballpark quite a bit. This is going to be his home park beginning in the fall. Brett has signed a full scholarship with Old Dominion University.
Call strike. Young left-hander Bren has looked real good here in the first part of this inning. Good location on his pitches, keeping him on the corners, not throwing any meat up there. And an off-speed pitch has Wheeler swinging.
Well, he's got to be thinking when he comes out to take the rubber here in the first inning, I've got a 3-run lead. I don't have any business doing anything but throwing strikes.
I'm serious. That's a real nice feeling. As a former pitcher in my Little League days, it's always nice to get spotted to a lead. Pop up right side, taken by the second baseman for the second out of the inning. And David Denton, the first baseman, will come to the plate. Denton with a great season, 407 on the season, including 6 dingers.
Both David and Brett have been selected to play in the Virginia High School League East-West All-Star Game, which will be in Hampton in July.
Swing and a miss on the first pitch by David. In the dirt for a ball. 1-1 the count. 2 away here in the bottom of the first. 3-0 in favor of Kempsville. 3 consecutive singles in the top half of the first inning, counting for the runs.
Denton had a big hit in the first game against Indian River. I believe it was in the bottom of the 6th inning. He rifled a double down the right field line.
It's low for ball 2. 2-2 the count to Big David. Member of the National Honor Society. Hits the ball to the left side of the infield. Shortstop comes up with the ball. Long throw to first, and he's safe as the throw pulled the first baseman's foot off the bag. And Denton will reach, I guess, on an error. It should be an error on the throw.
Yeah, he was definitely pulled off the bag by the throw. In fact, he had probably plenty of time to step off, get the throw, and make the tag. But instead, he tried to stay on the bag, and he couldn't do it.
So Denton keeps the cause alive, and this brings up Macy Brooks. Here's the replay. See the ball not particularly hard hit. Certainly a shortstop with a lot of time to throw him out. Denton not a particularly fast runner. And the throw off the mark pulls the first baseman off. And Denton reaches on the error. So Macy Brooks comes to the plate. Macy, the center fielder, with a .413 batting average, including 5 home runs.
And maybe soon to be property of the San Francisco Giants.
Yep. Macy, a draft pick by the Giants in the amateur draft today. Second round, is that what it was?
Second round, 4th pick.
Certainly a tremendous honor for this young man, and rightly so. He has really achieved some fine goals here at Kecoughtan. Pitches off the plate for ball 3. So Bren, after easily getting the first 2 batters, has gone 3-0 on Macy Brooks. Denton at second. Macy, a first-team All-District for 1993. Takes strike 1. Macy didn't think so, but he was taken all the way. Thought that ball was a little high.
Well, he's going to get the same pitch here. Lefty against lefty, it's going to be a little tougher on him. Let's see how he handles it.
Swing and a miss. Macy, another one of those multi-sport participants at Kecoughtan. Played football, as many people know, and in fact received a scholarship from James Madison University. So he's going to have some tough choices to make here. Went for a pitch well off the plate, pops it up on the left side, and the third baseman over for it and makes the grab to end the inning. So Brooks went for a pitch that would have been ball 4, but you don't ever really mind an aggressive at-bat, I guess. You got a man on second. If you make something happen here and you get a run, it certainly would have changed some of the momentum for the Warriors.
Not in the first inning. You want to be go out there being as aggressive as you can be. Although I do think if he would have taken ball 4, you have a right-handed batter who I think has been very hot of late and could have driven in a run.
So after one full inning, the score, Kempsville 3 and Kecoughtan nothing. And for the Chiefs in the top half of the second inning, they will send their number 9 batter, Fred Sanders, the right fielder, and he'll be followed by Ryan Rivera and Adam Hibner. The Chiefs batted 8 players in that first inning. You see some of the crowd on hand for this contest here at Bud Metheny Baseball Complex on the campus of Old Dominion University, a really fine facility.
Fine facility, and Dan Butler, who's the athletic director at Granby High School, does a fine job with this tournament every year. And of course, Pat McMahon, the head coach at Old Dominion, is very warm in terms of allowing us to play here each year and does a very fine job with the field and making you feel welcome.
So Rock Brown, the big right-hander, delivers first pitch is a little low to Sanders. Sanders is just a sophomore, batting .285.
Not a bad average for somebody batting in the 9 spot.
Not too bad at all. In fact, according to his coach, he's really been coming on strong. He had a slow start and has played very well in the latter stages. He does ground out to start the inning. And that'll bring up the leadoff batter, Ryan Rivera, who carries a hefty .425 batting average into this game. He is a senior.
This young man played in the Commonwealth Games with both Brett Wheeler and David Denton last summer, and he is a real pepper pot, and he is exactly what makes this Kempsville team go.
First pitch to Rivera is low for a ball. Inside ball 2. 3 runs, 3 hits, and an error for Kempsville. No runs, no hits, and 2 errors for the Warriors. This pitch is a called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. No wind a factor tonight at all. The flag totally limp in right center. This one is hit to the right fielder, and he makes the play for the second out.
That's 2 times that young man has flied out, and I know Buddy is glad to see that. He puts the ball on the ground. He's got real good wheels.
So Belinshawn makes the grab out in right field for the second out, and this will bring up Hibner, Adam Hibner, who had a single in the first inning and scored. Squares around, shows bunt, but then does not. Takes the first pitch high for a ball. Hibner, when he's not playing first base, is actually the pitcher with a better record of the 2 main starters for Kempsville. He has a 6-2-1 record. Fouled out of play.
Tell you, just as an observation from up here, Tim, it does not look like the Kempsville Chiefs are catching up with Morocco Brown's fastball at all. And perhaps he ought to rely on that a little bit more and maybe just show the split finger on the outside part of the plate and then come back inside with the fastball. I think he'd have a little bit more success. He looks very comfortable on the mound out there.
This one hit deep to left field. And this one is out of here.
Again, that looked like something that was off speed. It was up. There was no doubt about it. The young man got a good part of the bat on the ball and just drove it right out of the ballpark.
The field is not a small field. You're looking at 325 down in the corner, and that ball was probably hit 330, 335 as Hibner got all of that one. And that'll bring up the second baseman, Jason Hatcher. Hatcher also singled and scored in the first inning. There you see the distance to the corner. First pitch, a swing and a miss. So with 2 out, the Chiefs strike again. This one hit to the right side is going to drop in for a base hit. Valenshawn up with the ball, throws it in and holds the young man to a single. But the Chiefs have definitely got Rock Brown's number here in the first 2 innings.
Again, that was a fastball. It was up and inside. The young man did a good job of fighting it off. He didn't really do a whole lot with it. He did drive it into the outfield for a base hit.
Mike Hilliard, the catcher, is the batter. He grounded out second to first back in the first inning. The Chiefs, I guess when you come into this situation, you're swinging loose. You don't have to worry, but you weren't supposed to be here anyway, so they're playing like they are just as loose as can be.
They are, and you're definitely right, Tim. When you bring the kind of record that they have brought in here, it's just like Gloucester the other night. They took Western Branch for 12 innings, and nobody ever thought they would do that. It's a nice feeling to be loose out there.
And it's a call strike. Of course, when you're Kecoughtan and you're 21-0, you've got to be feeling the pressure. You made the championship game last year, and you've been certainly expected to do well, and sometimes that pressure is a little difficult. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the second. Warriors down 4-0. And I emphasize they have got some firepower, so don't go away.
Be very interested to see what he throws here on this pitch. Fastball.
Right back up the middle. Almost an instant replay of the hit that scored the 2 runs earlier. So again, another hit.
Well, Tim, this brings up a situation that you and I were talking about before the game, and that is how long do you wait before you bring in Wheeler? Brett has had 2 days rest, even though he pitched 7 innings the other day. You have to play this game as though it's the last one of the season, because it very well may be.
Pinch runner Ryan Pishuk comes in. Or Peschek, as it may be. The batter is Kevin Bryn. As we see the replay of that hit again, right up the middle. And Brown with no opportunity to make the play. Runners at first and second. Bryn with a single and 2 RBIs in a similar situation, although the last time he was up, he had runners at second and third. Swings and misses. 1-1 to count.
Tell you, on that last replay with that hit up the middle, it was a textbook swing by that young man. When you're teaching somebody how to hit and how to keep your head on the ball, he did it.
Call strike 2. So Brown ahead on the count. A ball and 2 strikes. Foul down the first base line.
Brown continues to work ahead. He just has trouble putting them in the dugout.
He really has. He has had little problem finding the strike zone. Unfortunately, they've been finding him. A little bit high. Count even up at 2-2.
Yeah, this is a pitch of decision here. He doesn't want to go 3-2.
This one foul down the third baseline.
There's a whole lot of difference between pitching a 2-2 count and a 3-2 when you get 2 people on base, because once you get to that 3-2 count, those runners are moving on the pitch, and a long single scores both of them.
6 hits through an inning and 2/3 for the Chiefs. This one hit off the end of the bat, foul. So again, Bryn hangs tough. He was a tough out the last time. In fact, he did not. When I say tough out, he hung tough with Brown and then finally hit that ball up the middle for the 2 RBIs. So he's done really well against Rock here in the first 2 at-bats. Again fouled out of play. You're watching the Eastern Regional Semifinals, Group AAA Baseball, Kecoughtan Warriors and the Kempsville Chiefs. A couple of Indian tribe type baseball teams tangling here. The Chiefs so far, the better of it, 4-0. Tim Cole and Mike McCormick. And strike 3 called as Brown got a good call from the umpire. The ball looked like it might be a little bit low. Certainly, if you're Kempsville, you would feel that way, but the Chiefs are able to add 3 more hits and another run, and after an inning and a half, they lead 4-0. With the Warriors coming to bat, they'll be led by Robert Arredondo, Richie Clark, and Morocco Brown as we get a chance to watch some of the action from this last inning.
That's the home run.
That's the homer, all right.
Looked to me like a hanging split finger. He got up in the strike zone. Young man turned on it real well. I just don't think that Kempsville can do that with this fastball.
There you see the young man as he makes the turn at third after, you know, that one felt good as you hit a ball 335, 340 feet against a pitcher like Brown. You've got to feel good as Kempsville's teammates out there to congratulate him. So the Warriors now need to get going here. Those of you that may not be familiar with high school baseball, there are 7 innings scheduled.
Tim, as we sit here getting ready to start the bottom of the second, I see Brett Wheeler down in the bullpen right now warming up. There is no tomorrow if you lose.
Arredondo takes the first pitch for a ball.
This is a young man right here that some of the scouts are interested in already. When I saw him come up as a freshman, he impressed me with some very good, soft, quick hands. He has started to hit the pitching at this level a little bit better. I think he needs to improve in that area, but he's a good young player.
And he hits the ball to left field, and it is going to drop in there. And he is going to try to take second base, and he will do so. Some good heads-up base running by Arredondo, and he reaches second. There you see the bullpen area and Brett Wheeler loosening up. So I have not seen an error on the board there, so I'm going to assume that that was a double. And that brings up the catcher, Richie Clark.
This was an area that Buddy was really concerned about at the beginning of the year after losing David Skorupski.
He fouls this one behind the plate, and a tough chance, not able to make the grab for Kempsville. Richie batting .339.
He has really come on. I've been impressed with how hard this young man has worked, and he's developing into a fine high school catcher. That last play right there, Tim, is tough on a high school catcher. They don't get very many opportunities in the small ballparks that they play in to make that kind of play.
That's true. Usually at the high school level, you've got about 15 feet at the very most behind you, if that. And yeah, he had enough room, but could not make the play. Runner at second. Nobody out. Ball inside to Clark. Rock Brown is on deck. Pat Painter in the hole.
It's important that the Warriors score here with the runner on second and no outs. Obviously, you'd like to see Richie move the ball to the right-hand side of the infield, so you move the runner to third base.
Pitch is high for a ball. As we mentioned, Kecoughtan with a team batting average of .331. Foul back out of play.
Hey, good two-strike hitter up there now. Come on. Come on. Good base hit. Come on. All right. Go out, John.
Right here in this situation, Richie Clark needs to become a situational hitter. He's got to give up his bat a little bit, move that runner. Doing a real good job hanging in there.
As you mentioned, just a junior. Played football last year, but he's thinking about giving up football in favor of working more on his baseball. And he certainly has had an excellent season. .339 batting average. Hits this one for a base hit. This should score the run. And it does. And now Richie's got to hurry back to first. He is back safely just by a whisker. So the Warriors are able to get that run across on the single by Richie Clark to left field.
Real good piece of hitting with 2 strikes, Tim. And, you know, once again, here's a situation of timely hitting when the runner is in scoring position. That is what gets you. That is what will get us back in this ball game, and that is what will win the ball game.
Rock Brown will be the batter. Here you see the replay. Richie Clark hung tough and then hit this ball perfectly over the shortstop's head. Good speed by Arredondo to get home with ease. There you saw Clark thinking about going to second, and then he just got back in time. So Rock Brown will step to the plate, batting .259. 15 hits in 58 at-bats. Takes a strike. Rock has been a starter since the 9th grade. Gave up basketball, as we mentioned, during the winter months, and has been a very important factor in the success of this team this year, according to his coach, Buddy Denton. Just a junior, Rock is 6-0 as a pitcher. Hits this one to the right side. Right fielder has it lined up and makes the catch for the first out.
Real good idea by Morocco, trying to hit the ball to the right-hand side of the field there. I've noticed that Rock has started going to right field a little bit better than he had in the past. In fact, he was a dead pull hitter, if anything, when he first came up as a 9th grader.
Batter is the third baseman, Pat Painter. Painter batting .281, takes the first pitch inside.
Patrick has been a real good surprise for Coach Denton, and I really don't mean surprise in the way that he didn't think that he would be a good player, because he always has been, but he's come in and filled that third base shoes real well for Coach Denton's team.
He hits this one deep to left field. The left fielder has room and makes the catch for the second out. The Warriors are getting some good contact with the ball. And it brings up Ricardo Belenchon. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Belenchon.
Just a sophomore. Had some injuries that slowed him down, but he's back in the lineup. And he hits this one to center field for the third out. So after the Warriors were able to get something going there with a double and a single for the RBI, the next 3 batters fly out to end the inning. But the Warriors do get 2 hits, and they score a run, and the score now after 2 full innings, Kempsville 4 and Kecoughtan 1, and we will see Brett Wheeler taking the mound. Brett, of course, unless you live in a cave, You have undoubtedly heard of his success this year if you follow Indiana high school baseball at all. 72 innings pitched. He started 12 games, had 5 complete games, allowed 51 hits, and struck out 110 in 72 innings while only walking 34. And a 12-0 record. Here's a replay from that last inning of the ball that dropped in. That was the double that was scored by the Warriors that ultimately, by Arredondo, that ultimately led to the run. And you saw the good hustle there where if you don't play aggressively, you might have stayed on first and that run wouldn't have necessarily scored. In fact, it would not have scored as it turned out, since the Warriors were able to only get those 2 hits.
Well, I had a chance to talk with Brett Wheeler the other day in school and asked him about his performance on the mound the other day, and some of it he blamed just a lack of concentration, others he just lack of work. So he had a real good workout on Monday morning. We'll find he hasn't had lack of work in the last 3 days, so we'll find out where he is tonight.
Due up for Kempsville in the 3rd inning, Chris Nicholas, the left fielder, Brian Ward, the 3rd baseman, and Mike Francis, the center fielder. Nicholas reached on an error, one of 2 errors back in the 1st inning. 0 for 1 on the night. Nicholas, as we mentioned, one of the better students on this team. His coach says he's got 1,200 plus on his SATs, something a lot of the high school students are aware of this time of year. Good throw over to first base in time for the first out.
Real good play there by Patrick Painter. Good stretch at first there by David Denton. Yeah, I think 1,200 on your SATs will get you into most colleges you want to look at.
Certainly is a good step in the right direction, huh? Due up, Brian Ward, the 3rd baseman. He also reached on an error in the 1st inning. Brett Wheeler, big right-hander, lines and delivers. Curveball hit to the right side, over to first for the 2nd out of the inning. So the Warriors now clicking 2 consecutive outs, and it brings up Mike Francis. Center fielder was a pop-up flat out to right field in the 1st inning. Four to nothing, Kempsville on top. If you joined us late, the Warriors, the home team, allowed 3 runs in the 1st inning on 3 hits. Big 2-run RBI by Kevin Brin, the big blow. And in the 2nd inning, the 4th run scored on a home run by Adam Hibner. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Warriors scored their run in the 2nd inning. Double by Arredondo and a single by Richie Clark to drive him in. A little bit off the plate. Ball and 2 strikes, 2 away, top of the 3rd. Curveball high. Winner of this game takes on First Colonial Friday night. Of course, as you watch this game, that game will already be being played. Ball hit back up the middle. Shortstop, nice move over to get the ball over to first in time.
Real nice play by Arredondo. Going up the middle and getting his feet set this time and making a good strong throw to Denton at first.
So the Warriors experience their first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game as the Chiefs go down in order. And in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, the Warriors will have the top of the order coming up. Muskie, Wheeler, and Denton will be the scheduled batters in the bottom of the 3rd. Here's a replay of the last out of the inning. Jammed him a bit on that pitch.
Right, he did. He came in with the fastball on his hands. Robert did a real good job going behind the second base bag, getting us. Watch how he sets his feet here, which is a big difference. Makes a nice strong throw to David Denton for the out. One of the most important things that we used to talk to infielders about had nothing to do with their arms. It has to do with their feet. You're making the good throws when you get them feet set,
Come on, Ken, here we go.
getting everything going in the right direction. It's a good job by Brett Wheeler to come back and shut down the Chiefs in that inning after scoring a run. They got the top of the lineup coming up here. They got a chance to push across a few more runs and get back in this ball game.
Buski will lead off for the Warriors. He was a strikeout victim in the first inning. And he takes the first pitch for a called strike. .267 on the season. 16 hits in 60 at-bats. Hit to the third baseman. Long throw over to first for the out. And the batter will be the pitcher, Brett Wheeler. Wheeler popped out to the second baseman his first time up. He is 0 for 1. This one hit fouled down the third base line. Brett way out in front of that pitch.
Tell you, the young man on the mound is not fooling them a whole lot. They seem to be getting some pretty good wood on the ball, aluminum on the ball.
Aluminum on the ball. It's hard for me to do that too. I always want to say good wood on the ball, but
tough play for Rivera here.
No chance as Wheeler beats it out. An infield single for Brett Wheeler. And with one out, it'll bring up the ever-dangerous David Denton. And when I say dangerous, I mean .407 batting average, 6 home runs, 6 doubles. And here's your replay. You'll see Wheeler hit that high chopper. Shortstop had to wait for the ball to come down. And that's all it took for Wheeler, who has good speed, to beat it out.
Now Brett will go back in the dugout and he'll talk about all the speed he has beating that chopper out.
That's right. Off the plate for a ball.
Tim, we are using speed-up rules here in this regional tournament. John Hatt is now running for Brett Wheeler, who is pitching. Chuck Payne last inning ran for Richie Clark when he got on base.
Of course, they can do that for the catcher or the pitcher at any time they're on base. Is that right, Mike?
As soon as the runner gets on base, they must replace him at that time, and they can continue to replace them throughout the game as many times as they get on base.
But does that only apply to the pitcher and the catcher?
That's correct.
Denton fouls it back out of play.
Denton's having a rough tournament. He hit the double down the right field line the other night against Indian River. It seems to me like a lot of his body is bailing out. He needs to take that left-hander right up the middle on this pitch right here.
Denton second on the team in RBIs with 26 on the season. And he swings and misses on a pitch that appeared to be outside the strike zone, or certainly a little bit high. But Denton, not lamenting about it, heads right for the dugout. And it brings up Macy Brooks, who is the team leader in RBIs with 32. And the team leader with batting averages of .413. Warriors could use a timely hit here from Mr. Brooks. Fouled back out of play.
He had an awful good pitch to hit right there. Ball looked like it was up in the strike zone in his wheelhouse. Just missed it.
5 home runs, second on the team for Macy.
Macy hit a home run in the district tournament, which will be talked about for a long time to come. Actually, it was in the showcase day. It wasn't in the district tournament.
Over there at War Memorial?
Over at War Memorial Stadium, the ball must have traveled about 4:15, 4:20. He launched it.
2. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. Runner on first. Warriors down by 3. Tim Cole and Mike McCormick bringing you this contest. Looks at ball 3. And of course I should hasten to add the A-team. Scotty Bowers in the van along with Bev Faxton Penn. Alan Parker manning the remote control list and replays. Camera crew. Macy Brooks, strike 2. He thought that pitch was a little outside, but it was on the corner. Of course, our camera people tonight, Jerome Young, Melvin Hooker, and Don Bell. Doing a great job, as always. This one hit deep to center field, but it's going to be playable at the warning track for the 3rd out. So Macy Brooks got a lot of that one, but didn't get all of it. You get a chance to see Macy Brooks again as he took the pitch from the left-handed Bryn and launched it deep to center field, out at the warning track, but not deep enough for the Warriors. Yeah, he almost lost him in the moonlight there as the center fielder went all the way, but made the catch for the 3rd out. For Kempsville, Fred Sanders will lead off again. He grounded out in the 2nd inning. He'll be followed by the top of the order, Ryan Rivera and Adam Hibner. Interesting little story about Sanders here. I was asking the coach, I was checking the lineup, and I was talking to Coach Benwitz, and said, do you pronounce that Sanders or Saunders? It was spelled Saunders. He said, well, that's an interesting question. He says, all year long we've been spelling it Saunders, but then the other day he told me, by the way, Coach, my last name is Sanders. So it is Sanders, even though we probably have it on the graphics as Saunders.
And by the way, I'm hitting 285 and I'm on my batting 9th.
That's right. Down the first baseline, the ball is picked up in foul territory. Almost hit the batter. Had it done so, of course, he would have been automatically out. But the catcher, Clark, played the ball very well, waited for it to roll foul, and for a moment there, Mike, I wasn't so sure it was going to.
No, I didn't. It's an interesting baseline here at the Old Dominion Field. If you notice, there's not a whole lot of dirt on the fair side of the line there.
You'll see your replay here. The ball hits in an area where you'd almost expect it automatically to start going. In fact, it looked like he almost might have hit it with his foot. I don't know. Back to the live action. Fouled out of play. 1-2 the count. Nobody out here in the top of the 4th.
You know, talking about this young man's batting average and how Coach Benowitz may use him, I know that Coach Denton a lot of time uses a number 9 hitter as a second leadoff hitter. So he is a pesky little hitter.
Sanders out at first on a close play. A good play by the shortstop, Muski. Arredondo, but that was a close play. But you have to raise that question again that so many times is asked. Why did he not run through the bag instead of diving? It's almost a concluded fact that you slow down in order to dive.
It's just a matter of him hustling and trying to get down to the line the best way he can. But I agree with you too, Tim. I would like to see him go through that bag rather than sliding like that.
You see it in all of the different levels of baseball, though. You see it from...
You do. Well, your first base coach is there to help you on a throw that's coming in wide to tell you to get down, but it's so difficult. The batter really has to determine what he's going to do.
The batter now is the leadoff batter, Ryan Rivera, who is 0 for 2. Flied out to center, flied out to right. Pitch just off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looks like Brett Wheeler was about to register his first K, but not to be. He will on that pitch, however. So Rivera has been very quiet, 0 for 3. He has not hurt the Warriors at all. It's the middle of the batting order that's really stung Kecoughtan. And it's Adam Hibner who hit a roughly 340-foot home run in the second inning. And he singled in the first, 2 for 2. Two outs here in the fourth. Wheeler delivers strike.
Certainly at this point, I think Wheeler looks a lot more effective tonight than he was Monday morning.
The big bender is just inside. What you have to be concerned about, of course, is you're down by 3 runs, so you've got to get some bats going. Strike 2.
But then again, First Colonial was down by 3, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Ask Western Branch about that. First Colonial in the early game, down 3-0, came back and tied it up in the bottom of the 7th, and went on to win in 9 innings, 5-4. And Wheeler registers his second consecutive strikeout. So the Kempsville Chiefs go very quietly in the 4th inning. Ground out and 2 strikeouts, and after 3.5 innings, the score 4-1. 6 hits, 4 runs for Kempsville. 1 run on 3 hits for the Warriors. Robert Arredondo, Richie Clark, and Morocco Brown are the scheduled batters for Kecoughtan in the 4th. I've been spelling Arredondo's name wrong here.
This was that close play at first base. Arredondo making a strong throw over to the sliding Saunders, 285 Sanders.
Umpire emphatic about his call. No question in his mind that the play was an out. So the Warriors have to kind of hope here now that they can start to solve Kevin Brin a little more than they have. They did start to warm to the task in the second inning.
Well, Robert gave us a good start there in the second inning. Let's see if he can do the same here in the bottom of the 4th.
Swing and a miss. Brin delivers another swing and a miss. Kind of a pitch that fooled him, I think. He kind of swung half-heartedly at that.
Looked like he changed speeds on him right there, and now he's ahead 0-2 in the count, and Robert has to turn into a different kind of hitter.
Fouled back, out of play. Arredondo batting .409, 27 hits in 66 at-bats, 6 doubles and 3 dingers. Third on the club with home runs. Hit sharply to the third baseman. He cannot find the ball, and Arredondo will reach safely on what will undoubtedly be termed an error. But that's a tough chance for the third baseman.
Was a real tough chance. The left-hander came inside on Arredondo, and he opened up, and he hit the ball real hard to the third baseman. But everything was in front of him, and he should have made the play.
So Richie Clark now, the catcher, who had an RBI single in the second, hits the ball deep to left center field, but the center fielder is there to make the catch for the first out.
Again, the Warriors staying very aggressive. I think you would like to see him work this pitcher a little bit out on the mound when you're 3 runs down, but they are aggressive at the plate.
Rocco will come to the plate, 259 hitter. Swing and a miss.
You know, Tim, Arredondo on first base, I want to tell you something about this young man's unselfishness. Last year, he was an all-district third baseman. Came out thinking that he was going to be at third base again this year. Coach didn't ask him to move to shortstop.
Single up the middle from Brown, and Arredondo going to stretch it all the way to third, and Brown goes to second on the throw. Good aggressive base running. Not to interrupt you, Mike.
That's right, and good aggressive base running by Morocco Brown on the throw to third base. Yeah, they got 2 people in scoring position.
A single for Brown. He moves to second on the throw, and all the way to third goes Arredondo. Here's your replay a bouncer up the middle for a seeing eye single. And never hesitating for a second, Arredondo went all the way to third. And on the throw, Brown at second base with only one out. And Pat Painter is the batter. Flied out to center field. This one is hit deep to right field, enough to get the runner to score, and he doesn't go. Oh, a mix-up. And almost got the double play. Buddy Denton looking at Arredondo, that was just, it had to be a mental error.
It was. I can't imagine what you would possibly be thinking except for tagging and running. Painter hit the ball certainly deep enough for Arredondo to score on the play. But it happens at every level, Tim.
Absolutely. You cannot for a moment think it doesn't, because right now there's no one feels worse about it than Arredondo. But you have those things happen. And the Warriors are fortunate that Rock Brown got back to second and not being doubled up. This one hit shallow right field. The right fielder playing in perfectly makes the catch for the third out. So the Warriors should have gotten another run in that inning, but do not, and that will be an interesting point to see if that becomes a major factor later on in this ball game as we move now to the fifth inning. It is getting later on, so that uncharacteristically a mental error by the Warriors. But as you said, and not to belabor the point, but it happens at every level. Anyone in any level of baseball can make that mental error. Here you see the ball as it was. It was hit deep enough, taken by the right fielder. And in fact, he had to hold up throwing right away because of a near collision with the center fielder.
Well, the right fielder had no intention of even throwing that ball home whatsoever. He was more concerned about the runner moving from second to third. That's why his play was at that bag.
Yeah, I think it was a foregone conclusion that they were giving up the run on the sacrifice.
Well, we'll see what kind of character that the Warriors have here. Down by 3 runs going into the fifth inning of play here. They still have plenty of time to come back and score some runs and to move on into the finals of this regional tournament. You know, as I've been sitting here thinking, Tim, I think the last time you and Bob did the telecast with the Warriors, it was at Bethel, and they came back after spotting Bethel several runs in that game. So they can come back.
There's no question about that. That definitely came to my mind, too. And I think you might even characterize Bethel being a similar mental status at that game as Kempsville might be in this game, in a sense of nothing to lose, everything to gain. Throw to first in time. So since Wheeler has come in, it's been Katie bar the door. 6 batters have faced Wheeler, and 7 now, and 7 have gone down. Brings up Mike Hilliard, the catcher. He is 1 for 2, grounded out in the first and had a single in the second. One away in the top of the fifth. Strike call. If you joined us late, you're watching Kecoughtan and Kempsville, Eastern Regional semifinal action. Single elimination baseball. You lose tonight, you are done for the season. You win tonight, you will automatically advance to the state round next Friday, the 11th of June.
And the winner of this regional tournament gets an opportunity to host those quarterfinals.
And First Colonial is already in that final, and the strikeout registered by Wheeler. Second out of the inning, Kevin Brin with 2 RBIs in the first inning. He is 1 for 2, will be the batter. He is also the pitcher and has done a fine job so far in this ballgame. He's really done a good job of keeping Kecoughtan down.
I think the folks out here at Old Dominion Complex are seeing a much more effective Brett Wheeler tonight than they did on Monday afternoon.
First pitch a little high for a ball. Swing and a miss. Happy to tell you there's no rain and apparently no threat of it at this point. Of course, the cloud cover is still intact, so you've got to be concerned about a possibility of some rain. And being down right now, you're looking at an almost complete game here. Another half inning. This game will, or is it 7 innings? I guess it's 3.5 innings.
No, it would be 4.5.
4.5. Fouled out of play.
Even though they play 7, it's still 4.5. A game is a game is a game.
Some of the rules are different, some of them aren't, and certainly we don't get a chance to do as many high school baseball games as we'd like to do. But certainly there's a lot of restraints that keep us from being able to do so.
I tell you, I have a tremendous amount of respect for these umpires. They jump around from high school games to college games to Legion games, which uses National League rules, and there are so many different subtle changes between the three. I don't know how in the world they keep up with it all.
Wheeler registers his 4th strikeout in 2 innings, as once again the Chiefs go quietly for the 3rd consecutive inning. And you see in your picture there, Buddy Denton gathering his troops with a little pep talk here as the Warriors with 3 more at-bats. They've got this the bottom of the 5th. Of course, the home team, they will have the last bat. And they'd rather not have to use that at this point. Here's this
good
the
solid
pitch.
breaking pitch right there.
And Wheeler has a solid breaking pitch. There's no question about that. And you see some of the fans in attendance. That is the Kempsville side of the stands, I would imagine. Bryn continues to be the pitcher for Kempsville. Coach Benwitz has apparently a lot of confidence in this young man. His record does not indicate a great deal of success for this team, 4-2-3. But as talking with the coach, they were 3-5 in the first half of the season. They got off to a real slow start, but came on very strong with a 6-2 record towards the end. So they did have some success in the latter stages. Top of the order for the Warriors, so if they're going to ever have a good opportunity to get back in this one, this would be the time, as Muski, Wheeler, and Denton will be the batters up. Just on the outside corner. Looked to be a tad off the plate.
Neither one of the leadoff men in this game have been able to get on base.
Which is high for a ball.
I think it's very important that Muski does something here to get down on the sack for Brett Wheeler on deck.
In the dirt, ball 2. Bryn has interesting body language. I like to watch different things. He seems to get mentally disgusted at times with calls that he's gotten or pitches that he's thrown. He seems to still, as evidenced by that pitch, having no problem. Rhett Wheeler will be the batter. Shortstop makes the play over to first in time, and Wheeler is retired. 2 away now, and Denton will be the batter. Reached on an error in the first inning and struck out in the 3rd. And the Warriors, top 2 men in the batting order out here in the 5th. Bryn continues to be strong. First pitch to Denton is outside. Denton capable of making this a 4-2 game with 1 swing, no question about that. And he tried to do just that.
Well, he had a good pitch to turn on right there. He just didn't catch up with it.
1-1 the count. Ball 2. Denton has a good eye at the plate. He has walked 22 times during this season, struck out only 10 times in 59 official at-bats.
Well, he's worked himself right back into this count here. He's got a 3-1 pitch. He ought to be looking for something in his zone, something he can drive hard.
And he does for a base hit to center. So Denton reaches for the second time, and it brings up Macy Brooks, who is 0 for 2, and he is due.
Although the last time hit the ball about 395 and didn't have anything to show for it.
Yeah, had he pulled it down the right field line or the left field line, either one, he would have been circling the base pass, but that's not the way these things work. Another base runner, or is that, what do we got here?
Got a pinch runner for Denton here. It's looked to me like number 14, Chuck Payne.
Now, will Denton be out of the ball game?
He's out of the ball game right now, and then he may re-enter one time.
One time. A little more speed on first. I think I win an understatement on that one. Denton slimmed down, though, the last couple of years. He was packing some pretty good weight as a sophomore.
David has done a real good job working very hard in all facets of his game. And his hard work has paid off both in the classroom and on the field. He's going to be playing at Virginia Commonwealth University next year, as he has received a scholarship from Coach Tony Guzzo up in Richmond.
And a 4.0 GPA.
And a fine young man on top of that.
So Bren struggling a little bit with the control here, as he is being more than cautious with Brooks. And Brooks, of course, looking at a 3-0 count with 2 out and a runner on first base. You give him the green light down by 3?
Not down by 3. A 2-run homer doesn't get the tie.
And Brooks looks at ball 4. So the Warriors with 2 outs, an opportunity to get something working here. And the batter will be Arredondo. Arredondo with a double and reached on an error, 1 for 2 on the night. And the Warriors here looking to get back in this. Down by 3 in the bottom of the 5th.
Robert doesn't need to be too anxious here. He needs to look for a pitch that he can handle and that he can drive so we can get a run across the plate here.
And they jammed him. He hits it to the shortstop over to second for the out. So the Warriors unable to capitalize. And they get 2 base runners on a base hit and a walk, but are unable to score. And after 5 full innings, our score, Kempsville 4 and Kecoughtan 1. Since Brett Wheeler came in the ballgame, you get a chance to see this again. This is Denton's hit.
Good solid hit up the middle there on a 3-1 pitch. But I think you saw on the replay that a lot of his body and head was pulling out there. He was really looking to yank something over the fence.
Since Wheeler came on, he is perfect. 9 batters up, 9 batters down for the Warriors. But that's not as big a problem for them right now as the fact that they need to score some runs in their halves of the innings. Nicholas will lead off, followed by Ward and Francis. Chris Nicholas reached on an error and grounded out. He is 0 for 2. Kecoughtan with a perfect 21-0 record, very much in jeopardy right now. Kempsville jumped out on top 3-0 with 3 runs in the first inning. Added a home run in the second for their 4 runs. The Warriors with a double and a single in the bottom of the 2nd for their only run of the ball game. Nicholas 0 for 2. Strike called. One and one the count. Wheeler delivers just off the plate.
Just off the plate is right. It looked like it caught an awful lot of black on the outside part.
It did. That one in a similar spot gets the call. 2 and 2 the count.
Brett's in a good groove right now, and he knows it. Usually when he gets in a good groove, he works very fast.
And a base hit.
That hanging breaking pitch has hurt the Warriors all night long, and that was another case of it happening. It happened with Morocco Brown when he was out there, and now to Wheeler.
So Nicholas reaches on the single, and it'll bring up Brian Ward, who is 0 for 2. Reached on an error in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd.
Might be looking for a sacrifice here.
Ward batting .245 on the season.
One of the reasons a pitcher might throw over to first base in a situation like that is to see if your batter will tip off what he's going to do, and it looked like he was getting ready to slide that right hand down the barrel. Notice he's up in the front of the box to make sure the ball goes fair.
Call strike. Popped up, right side. David Denton calling for it and makes the grab for the out.
Of course, one of the reasons why the Chiefs might not be bunting in that situation is that they are at the bottom of their order. Give these young men a chance down there to swing the bat a little bit and try to drive the run home.
Batter is Mike Francis. He is 0 for 2, flied out and grounded out. Swing and a miss. One away, runner on first. Wheeler over to first, back in time. Foul back out of play. So Wheeler ahead on the count, 0 and 2. Just off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. In the dirt, nice stop by Clark.
There was some talk also, Tim, about Brett Wheeler getting drafted as well. Not quite. There wasn't quite the optimism that he would be in the higher rounds as was Macy Brooks, but maybe somewhere between round 7 and round 12.
Base hit, right field.
Good piece of hitting. Good job by Ricardo once again getting over and cutting that ball off.
Excellent job as he got there quickly and kept the runner from advancing to third. So an excellent play. You know, those don't show up in the box scores, but those kind of plays are what will keep you winning. No question about that.
He made an unbelievable catch to end the game on Monday afternoon and to stop an Indian River rally. He went to the hole and dove and stretched out completely parallel and made a very fine catch in right field.
Fred Sanders, the batter. Right fielder is 0 for 2. Bunts the ball back to the pitcher, Wheeler, over to first, and Buski can't hold on to it. It's going to be a play at home, and it's not in time as the run scores. And that could be a huge run.
I don't know if we have a replay on that, but that runner was inside that baseline, and if I'm Coach Denton right now, I'm questioning an interference call right there. And I think that caused Brett Wheeler to throw that ball wide of first base.
Well, let's see if we can pick that up on the replay. We do have a replay. Ball bunted nicely, an excellent bunt.
He is completely on the grass at this point right here, and he is not in the lane that he's supposed to be, and that runner should be out.
Good observation on your part, Mike. Unfortunately for the Warriors, nor did they protest it, and for that reason, nothing will come of it. So the leadoff batter, Rivera, is up. Run scores on the rundown. So Kempsville adds another run.
I'll tell you, Tim, it looked to me as though that was a planned play on the part of the Chiefs. That young man at first base made no effort whatsoever to go back to the first base bag. In fact, it looked as though he was trying to get picked off. They worked the old first and third play to perfection there to score a run.
So 2 outs now, but 2 runs across here in the inning. As Kempsville now extends their lead to 6-1. Pitch is outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Strike call. Strike 3 of the inside corner, and Rivera has been totally ineffective, 0 for 4. But boy, as the middle and the bottom of the lineup hurt the Warriors. 2 runs score in the inning.
I think if you told Coach Benowitz that he was going to be up 6-1 going into the bottom of the 6th inning and his leadoff batter, Rivera, would be 0 for 4, he'd probably say you were crazy.
You know, as we talked about it and so many times, it's a terrible cliche, but, you know, you come into a game like this where you've got nothing to lose. No one has expected you to be here. You're playing a team who is expected to be here, who has all the pressure on them. There you saw the replay of the rundown, but what you might not have seen during that rundown was the run scoring from third. But the Chiefs have played loose. They have been swinging from the hip from the very beginning, and they've played a good ball game. There's no question about it.
Yes, they have. They've executed when they've had to, and have done a good job to get out to a 6-1 lead.
And they've had good pitching. This young man, Kevin Brin, has done a fine job. So the Warriors down by 5 runs now. We'll have Richie Clark to lead off. Richie is 1 for 2. And an RBI. He's got the only RBI of the ballgame for Kecoughtan. He'll be followed by Morocco Brown and Patrick Painter. As the Warriors are down to the bottom of the 6th now.
Now here's a place right here in this ball game where the Warriors need to lose a little bit of their aggressiveness and catch on to a lot more patience. They just have to chip away. They can't get a 5-run home run, so they've just got to be patient.
Inside, ball 3. It's a good point. You've got to have some base runners. You don't, doesn't matter whether they're home runs, singles, doubles, or triples, or a walk. You need to get runners, and that's the story of this. 3-1 to count.
Clark has to be very selective here. He cannot be swinging at anything except for something he can drive real hard in this situation.
Strike 2 called. So Bryn, after falling behind 3-0, has come back with 2 consecutive strikes, and the count now is full. The leadoff batter fouled away on what might have been ball 4. Inside, ball 4, and the Warriors have the leadoff man on. Rocco Brown, who is 1 for 2, is the batter. Pinch runner coming in for Kecoughtan will be Steve Pablotti, who had been starting as recently here.
Yes, he has shared time in right field with Ricardo Belanchon. I believe that he shared some time when Belanchon was hurt. And in fact, played a little bit in the district tournament.
Base hit for Rocky Brown. So Morocco comes through with his second base hit of the ball game. And the Warriors have runners at first and second and nobody out. And Patrick Painter is the batter. Painter is 0 for 2.
Warriors here got to play station to station. They can't be too aggressive on the base paths. There's 5 runs down. Just have to chip away like we talked about a few minutes ago. We'll see how well this young left-hander on the mound handles the pressure. He hasn't had this kind of pressure all night long.
Foul down the third baseline.
It's amazing what a few base runners will do to a pitcher out on that mound.
You have to wonder, and I don't want to beat this to death, but you have to wonder if that mental error back in the inning when they could have made it 4-2 won't come back to haunt the Warriors.
Well, I'm certain that it affects momentum, if nothing else.
Right.
But hopefully they won't need that run at the end.
Popped up. Third baseman calling for it. And he makes the grab for the first out. So the runners have to stay at first and second. And Belanchon will be the batter. He is 0 for 2.
Ricardo Belanchon, only a sophomore, great speed and a very good defensive outfielder like we talked about at the top of the inning. If he starts hitting and coming into his own, he's going to be a fine little player.
Takes the first pitch for a strike. One away here in the 6th. Hit sharply to the second baseman, over to the shortstop for a double play. So the Kempsville Chiefs, that was a killer.
Just absolutely nothing you can do on a play like that. The young man hits the ball hard to the right-hand side of the field off the left-hander. It's called baseball.
Yep. Here's your replay. Made good contact, but unfortunately for the Warriors, right to the second baseman with the diving catch, or the leaping catch, I should say. And heads-up play over to the shortstop for the double play. So the Warriors unable to capitalize. They got 2 base runners, but unable to score. And now we go to the top half of the 7th inning. Kempsville leading 6-1 for the Chiefs. They will have Hibner, Hatcher, and Hilliard scheduled up in the top of the 7th. Hibner with a home run in the 2nd, single in the 1st. He is 2 for 3. Curveball, I guess, must have been high because it sure looked good from here, but called the ball. Fouled back off the catcher's mask. 1-1 the count.
You better be careful with that high breaking ball. This young man lost one in the second inning.
He certainly did. Curveball, strike 2. And Wheeler delivers strike 3. I want to take this opportunity to thank Dan Butler, the regional director, and his staff here at Pat Metheny Baseball Complex for all of their assistance. As always, greatest of cooperation, and certainly without his help and cooperation, it would not be possible for us to bring you this game. So we certainly want to thank Dan Butler, the regional director, and his entire staff here at Metheny Stadium Baseball Complex at ODU.
It's really a beautiful complex. People ought to come on over here and see Old Dominion play during the season.
Yeah, you know, it's only about a half hour, 35-minute ride from the peninsula. It's not bad at all.
It really is, and there's several players over here for Old Dominion that are representing the Peninsula District. People like Mark McFadden and Damon Phillips, and next year Brett Wheeler. Of course, Wayne Gomes, who played here and was drafted in the first round today, the 4th pick overall.
So Hatcher works Wheeler for a walk, and that'll bring up the catcher, Mike Hilliard. He is 1 for 3, singled in the second, grounded out in the first, and was a strikeout victim in the 5th. Yeah, there'll be a lot more Peninsula connection here next year, as you say. More reason for the fans to come across. You take the interstate and you take, I think it's 564 or something like that, and straight to the stadium. It takes about 30 minutes, if that. Strike call.
564 to Terminal Boulevard to Hampton.
I do it in my sleep now. We've been coming over for soccer and basketball and all the different events that are over here.
Next thing you know, you got a hot dog and a drink in your lap, and you're settled back and watching a good baseball game or a soccer match.
That's right.
Or if you stand up in the baseball stadium, you can watch them both.
Yeah, exactly. Swing and a miss for strike 2. 1-2 the count, 1 out, runner on first. 6-1, the Kempsville leading top of the 7th. Wheeler delivers, and a quick throw down at first, almost got the runner. So Hilliard is a strikeout victim, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Kevin Brin, who has just played a superb game on the mound. He is 1 for 4 at the plate. Excuse me, 1 for 3 rather at the plate. But he truly has been instrumental in shutting down this Kecoughtan team. No question about that. Hits to the right side, base hit. So runners at first and second with 2 out.
One of the things that you're always concerned as a coach going into any kind of tournament play is that you go up against a young man who has a career day or a career night. And I don't know what kind of pitcher that Kevin Brin has been throughout the season, although his record indicates that he's, hasn't been phenomenal or anything. But he sure has had a good evening tonight, and he's playing against a very good baseball team, the Kecoughtan Warriors.
And not to mention the fact he has 2 RBIs and is 2 for 4 on top of everything else. So he truly has a superb evening going for himself. First pitch is low for a ball. Batter is Chris Nicholas. Nicholas is 1 for 3. And this looks like it might be trouble. Second baseman, good job getting back to make the play for the 3rd out. So the Warriors now at the bottom of the 7th coming up. their last opportunity to tie or win this ball game. Should they be unable to do so, their season will end. And the Warriors will have the top of the order coming up. Get a chance to watch the replay here. You see the pop up to the right side. And a good job.
Good job of staying with that ball. Morocco Brown right behind him. Morocco Brown probably plays one of the shallowest outfield I've ever seen. Does a good job of moving himself around and making some fine plays out there himself.
So the top of the order, Muski, Wheeler, and Denton for the Warriors. Their last chance. Six hits and 1 run for the Warriors. 8 hits and 6 runs for Kempsville. The Warriors have committed 3 errors. And Muski takes the first pitch for a strike. This one hit in the gap, and a diving catch. It's a spectacular catch by the left fielder.
Fine catch. The ball just hung up just a little bit too long, gave him an opportunity to get into the alley and get underneath it, and just made just an outstanding catch against Jacob Muski.
Here's your replay. Just a super play by the left fielder. That is Nicholas. A running one-handed catch. I mean, you just can't get any better than that. Brin's first pitch to Wheeler is a ball.
I tell you, when you're standing in the coaching box and you see something like that happen and you look up at the scoreboard and you're 5 runs down, you start saying to yourself, well, maybe this just isn't our night.
Wheeler takes ball 2 a little bit high. Yeah, you gotta think that when you see that kind of play. Strike call. Which looked to be in the identical spot as the one before. Must have been a little bit lower. 2 balls and a strike to Brett Wheeler. Wheeler hits it sharply to the shortstop. Gobbles the ball up. Long throw to first for the second out. And David Denton is the last hope for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
And I might say to our fans out there as Brett Wheeler trots across the field, you're looking at a young man who's had one of the finest careers at Kecoughtan High School, the winningest pitcher in the history of Kecoughtan High School, a history that goes back some 30 years now.
First pitch to Denton is a ball. So the Warriors 1 out away from elimination. Denton swings and misses. Ball high. Count runs 2-2 with 2 away in the bottom of the 7th. Denton fouls it out of play.
Good job of staying in there. So we get down to this particular part of the game, and I look down at David. I can think of many years of good times that I've had with David here at Kecoughtan, and what a great career that he has had there as well, and we wish him all the world of luck at Virginia Commonwealth.
Foul back. Yeah, a lot of young men moving on to college here. Muski will be graduating. Wheeler, Denton, Macy Brooks, of course. Who else we got on the other chart over there? Painter's a
Well,
senior.
that's, basically it right there.
Yep.
Painter's a senior, but everybody else will be coming back.
And David Denton keeps it alive with a base hit to center.
David said he's not quite ready for it all to end yet.
Exactly. So 2 for 4 on the night for David Denton, and Macy Brooks will get another shot at it. He is 0 for 2. Flied out twice and walked.
For those of you who may have just joined us, Macy Brooks today was drafted 4th pick in the 2nd round by the San Francisco Giants, which I'm sure raised a lot of eyebrows and dropped a lot of mouths, at least on the peninsula as well as in, where the draft was taking place, because he has come on from almost nothing. He was cut from this baseball team as a sophomore. It's
Pretty
amazing
phenomenal
what he's done.
story.
And who knows what the future has to hold for him. He's got some big decisions to make, some negotiating to do. He's got a football scholarship already. Must be nice to have to make all those decisions.
Yep, must be nice to be 17, 18 years old and have to worry about those things again.
He's got himself right here in a real good hitting situation with the 2-0 count. Pitcher certainly doesn't want to walk him up by 5 runs. He can look for something he can handle here.
Off the plate, ball 3. So Bryn being extremely cautious with Brooks. Walked him the last time Brooks was up. On deck, should he get on base, Robert Arredondo. Brooks taking all the way for ball 4, so 2 consecutive walks for Brooks. And Arredondo has a chance to keep this one going. Arredondo had a double and scored the only run for Kecoughtan in the 2nd inning. Reached on an error in the 4th and grounded out in the 5th. Warriors down by 5. Called strike on the inside corner. In the dirt for a ball. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th. Foul back out of play. Warriors not content to go meekly here.
Now, which I think is indicative of the character that they've shown. Some of them all their careers here at Kecoughtan. They just don't give up very easily. In fact, I would restate that they don't ever give up.
With a record of 21-0 coming into this game. Jammed him, but it's fouled out of play. If they should go on and lose this game, you're going to always remember this game as being the biggest part of the season. But certainly 21 victories prior to this. This team has nothing to be anything but proud of.
Absolutely not.
Tremendous season. Undefeated season, Peninsula District, good competition in that district. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the ball game is over. And Kempsville smothers Kevin Bryn.
As they should.
As they should. What a game this young man had. He pitched a superb game tonight. So First Colonial and Kempsville will be the opponents in the Eastern Regional Finals. And the Kecoughtan Warriors eliminated with this 6-1 loss at the hands of the Kempsville Chiefs. Mike, it's been a real pleasure having you join me tonight to bring the ball game to the fans.
Well, thank you, Tim. I really appreciate it. And I think, just as you just indicated a few moments ago, time will serve as a great healer for these young men as far as this game is concerned. They can look back and say that we played on the Kecoughtan High School team that had the most wins in the history of the school and the best winning percentage. Congratulations to them and a fine job again by Coach Buddy Denton.
Absolutely. 21-1, a superb season. Warriors just ran into a hot pitcher, some timely hitting, some great fielding by Kempsville. Kempsville won the ball game. There's no question about that. They went out and played the game the way it's supposed to be played, and they had the hits when they needed them.
Yes, they did.
So there you see Buddy Denton and his group gathering on the third base side. Final score again, the Kecoughtan Warriors losing by the score of 6-1 to the Kempsville Chiefs. Kecoughtan's record falls to 21-1, while the Kempsville Chiefs improved to 13-9, just to prove that old axiom on a given night. Any team can beat another one. The final score is 6-1. This is Tim Cole from Mike McCormick. Thanks for watching. Good evening, everybody.